Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fall of Thorpe Park. In this video we are going to be discussing what rides and attractions have been causing Thorpe Park to fall, and not just the rides and attractions, but managing ideas, and yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing I would like to bring up is when it all started. And most people would point to Angry Birds Land, or I'm a Celebrity, or maybe even The Walking Dead, but I believe it started in 2007, and in 2007 is when Merlin brought Thorpe Park. And so if we look at everything that's happened since Merlin have brought the park has become a lot more IP based than before, with the Saw the Ride, I'm a Celebrity, Dan Brown's Ghost Train, Angry Birds Land, Walking Dead, Love Island. Yeah, so I believe that's when it started. And the first ride, Saw, it was the first sign that stuff was happening. Now, Saw is a great ride with great theming, but it's just, it would work without the IP, I think. I reckon if Merlin lost the license to Saw, I reckon they could do a really good job at theming it to a generic horror movie with some psycho murderer person with a similar plot to Saw, I guess. And yeah, that's Saw. Now, the next IP to join the park was I'm a Celebrity. Now, this is where Thorpe Park teamed up with ITV to bring the reality show to the park, and it's not the best thing, but it's certainly not the worst thing they've done with IPs. I mean, it gets way long queue, well, too long queues for what it is. As nowadays, when I last went in it, which was August last year, a lot of the effects were broken, the wind machine wasn't working, in the chambers it doesn't drop anything, and it's just not that well maintained, and I don't really think Thorpe cares for the attraction really. And it's just using up space, and well, they did actually utilise the space at Fright Nights, but due to all the I'm a Celeb stuff still being in there, they couldn't do that much with it, and we ended up with Vulcan Peak, which is one of the worst mazes Thorpe has ever done, and I'm sure many of you can agree with me there. And now, judging by the Thorpe Park app, it appears that I'm a Celebrity will not be there next year, as it has been taken off of the map on the app. That rhymes. And what is still on there is Living Nightmare, which is one of Fright Night mazes, which was open for a lot of last year. Mainly, yeah, it was open during the half term at the start of the year with an extreme version, which I didn't get to go in, but from what I saw online was apparently really good. And then it was open at points during the summer due to some problems with Saw Alive not being open properly, or something like that. I don't really know the full thing with that. And then it was open, of course, for Fright Nights. Now, the next IP that I would like to bring on is Angry Birds Land. Now, if you look at Angry Birds Land, it's not that great of an area. I mean, Thorpe Park don't even show it as a land anymore. It's just really in the middle of Amity. If you look at all the newer style area branding with all the logos like you see on your way into the park or on pop badges. There's no Angry Birds Land one, so I guess they just see it as a little like theming in the Amity area now, and it's really not that great themed. I mean, you got some really nice pieces like the towers and the catapult, but then everything else just feels like it's stickers and like acrylic boards put up on the side of the existing buildings. So I think they could have done a much better job, and Detonator's retheme, it's kind of not really, people forget it's an Angry Birds ride really, because all there really is like a couple of boxes with like the Angry Birds TNT design on them and the bomb bird on the building for the operators, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And the dodgems are fun. Thorpe Park needed dodgems really. And the cinema I don't bother with. In fact, I've never been in there, so can't really tell with that. And yeah, plus also the app is, nobody plays Angry Birds anymore, and yeah, it's not that great really. And the next point I would like to bring on is Walking Dead. You knew I was going to bring it up. It's just annoying being everywhere. It devalues Fright Nights. It's ruined my favourite ride. I mean, it needed new theming, or X needed new theming, but The Walking Dead wasn't for it. And yeah, it's just not that fun anymore really over on X, and Fright Nights doesn't feel as significant now with all the horror stuff going on all year. And yeah, The Walking Dead sort of devalued a lot of the park really. And the next point I would like to bring up is Love Island. It is probably the worst thing Thorpe has done, as Love Island is one of those horrible TV shows which is just full of idiots, like saying idiot things. I mean, they do actually have some very insightful conversations, like did you know that we won't have trees after Brexit? I never knew until I watched Love Island. But we don't need Love Island in the park. It's just horrible. You didn't need to add an IP to the Summer Nights event. It's just not needed, and yeah, nobody really cared about it apart from the people that watched the show. But then when they got to the park, they just realised, oh, it's a bit horrible, let's just go ride the rides instead. And the last point is Derren Brown. Derren Brown, it sucks badly, and it just shouldn't be there. It's taking up space, which I would have rather seen the arena stay, because you got amazing shows in there like the Rangers, the stunt shows, even a Spider-Man show at one point. Everybody would rather see a Spider-Man show than a Derren Brown ride. And the VR is broken. The whole Thorpe Park never have enough actors, so you get points where you're just stood in there. I mean, if you watch Geekism on his vlog from Thorpe Park, he was talking about how there weren't enough actors, so they were just stood in an empty area, just waiting in the darkness before they could get back on the train section. And yeah, they could have used the money to build a new roller coaster. And yeah, I know you guys probably were expecting me to talk about Log Asleep, but we are running out of time, and I want to do a full video on Log Asleep in the future. So thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Please like and subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye.